What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we are going to take a look at one of the, I guess, diorama pieces that has kind of eluded me for years now after collecting Enterbay, and this is the locker room diorama. And the reason it did is because it was expensive and I never thought it was right for the price. I think they were asking $140 initially, and then it went down to $120. I still feel like it's a bit overpriced for that amount, even though, you know, prices have been raising. But now on Big Bad, it's like $67, so I have to get one. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking of getting two, but we shall see how it boils down for me. So this is the packaging. One of the better Enterbay figures that I had, because it actually does have a brown shipper. So, and it's a small footprint, as you can see here. It feels like a 3-0 figure. It's very narrow, and it's a bit taller than a regular 1/6 scale figure, because this is a 1/6 scale diorama. So this is just a locker, and it would be nicer if you have multiples of this. I'm not gonna lie to you, because if you put them right next to each other, you could create like this locker room effect, kind of like, you know, like in NBA locker. And it does come with several accessories. You see some barefoot in here, which I will never use because of how finicky Enterbay's foot pegs are. They're just so weird. They're just, you know, and this is like a box that you have to assemble, like a shoebox type. Of course, it's a locker. So, you know what? I think if you have 3 of these, it's not going to be too bad. It's still going to be under $200. But the effect it would create, it's kind of like Hall of Armor, you know, where you have a bunch of lockers. And I also have like 3 Bulls players next to me, which is Michael Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. So I can have them maybe like right next to each other. So that might be a good effect. But we'll see. How am I going to display this, or where am I even going to put this? And look, it even has this padded stool that, you know, a player can sit on, which is really nice. And then this is it. This is the locker itself. So we'll take a closer look at the accessories first. This is made out, it feels like wood. So I'm gonna say this is real wood right here. Kind of like a plasticky wood, honestly. It has some weight to it. I wish this would have opened. That would have been great, because you could store things if it does open. And then you have this Enterbay shoe type box, and it does have slides in here, some sandals. You can see the back part of the sandals. Can you actually put this on a figure? Yeah, I've seen it. You can use it using that bare feet right there, and it has a towel that is included, which is pretty cool. It also does have some, this is a Gatorade bottle. Let's be honest here. This is a Gatorade bottle, and you have I believe this is deodorant. Yep, also branded Enterbay. So that this little things that you can put on the locker itself. And this is a shampoo. So after showering, get off the shower, you head over to your locker, and this, you got 2 types of bare feet in here, but they're, I don't know, they're shiny. It looks like a third party feet, not like the Hot Toys one. It has toe articulation, which is totally irrelevant, but they're in there. And then you have 2 hangers, which is EB. I wish there was more. Honestly, I wish there was more than 2. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this spare shirts from my Enterbay figures. You know, like the Steph Curry. These are like spare clothing that is included in, you know, some of the Enterbay figures that I do have. And I plan on hanging this into the locker itself, instead of them sitting on a box, because they would, you know, they take up a huge amount of space. And then I'm planning to put this Giannis warmer as well in there. So let's take a look at the details of this guy right here, because it is a pretty cool looking piece. It's tall, but again, it doesn't take up a lot of space, which is the great thing about this. You do have a cabinet in here that is magnetic. You can open it up. I'll put the slides in here, or what I'm gonna do is I'll put the spare shoe from Michael Jordan. I believe this is from the black jersey version, and I'll just shove it in there instead of that sitting somewhere on my desk. You have the stool, and then you have this mesh you know, kind of like storage as well. That opens, I don't know if that's meant to open up by the mesh, but it does. I think it's just broken. But you can take off this lid, and what you could do is I'm gonna stuff some of my items in here. You can see there is like a nudge at the bottom, so it kind of secures nicely. And then I have, again, spare clothing for, I don't even open them, for my Enterbay figures that I've had throughout the years, which I just used maybe once for the video. And again, they're taking up space in my accessories panel. So in here, I can just store them in there and then just close this, and you know, they have a purpose. Then, you know, that's what I do like about this. And then there's a hanger rack right there, and then which you can hang this clothing, and that's perfect. You know, you can see there at the top, I didn't even recognize there's another hook right there, so I guess you can hook up a jersey if you want to. So final thoughts on this, I'm not gonna make it longer than it should be. If you're an Enterbay fan, this is nice. You can, it does complement your figure. It is nicer if you have more than one, but it's up to you. It's not that expensive. It's currently $67. You got, you know, you can put a player of your choice in here, but there's not much to it. You can probably use it for other figures as well, but mostly Enterbay. You know, I don't know if you can put it on a Marvel figure, whatever the case is, but for $67, I think it's worth it. For, let's say, 75 shipped, the quality is nice. It doesn't take a whole lot of space. But thank you for watching. Hopefully this video helps you out. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.